There we go. Okay, so I am so excited about tonight. I heard about Kodie. I've known the name for a while now. I know your husband's in law enforcement, so when I told my husband I was doing this call, he was like, "Oh, I'm friends with her husband on Facebook, you know." And so Steve's a police officer too. So he just thought that was really cool. And so I've heard the name, and then recently was just introduced to kind of her story, and I was just blown away by it. She did a call with with Melissa Eichenhorst and her leaders, and I listened to the whole thing. I've listened to the whole thing twice now because it was that good. So I was like 10 minutes into that call and didn't even finish it, and I messaged Kodie and said, "Would you do a call for my leaders?" And she so graciously said yes. And so I think you guys are in for such a treat tonight. I'm really, really excited about it. So Kodie, I just want to tell you, this is all of my leaders. Well, they're not all on here, but a lot of my leaders are on here. These girls are just the rock stars of this team. They're obviously very passionate. They're great leaders. They're smart women. They're very kind women, and they all have such a heart for their teams. And most of all, so many of them have become my dear friends, and I love them. A lot of them, well, some of them I knew before Plexus, but a lot of them I didn't. So I'm very excited for them and for tonight. And, I like a lot of us, we are in a season with Plexus that is interesting right now. It's been interesting, and every business has its seasons of ups and downs, though. Every business has it, and we are no exception to that. And so obviously, sometimes when you're going through the hard seasons, it can make you or break you, right? And so it can sometimes paralyze you, and you don't know what to do next. My team has been through it. We have been through it the last few years, and then obviously just with a lot. We've been through a lot together. And so I can tell you without a doubt that these gals on here are true rock stars, because they have had to pick up the ball and run with it several times for this team, and they have always shown up and always done the job. And so I'm so proud of them, and I love them so much. I planned this call before Plexus ever rolled out the re-rank promotions. Like, it was just like a day or two before that. And then they roll out the re-rank promotions. I'm like, this is perfect. Like, this is perfect. So I'm very excited about it. And I think you guys that are on this call tonight, it just couldn't be a more perfect time for this call. So I just want you guys to get ready. I told you earlier on the live on my leadership page to grab your pen and paper or your computer and get ready. Maybe you need that comeback. I know a lot of you need the comeback. Like, we called this our comeback call, Kodie. That's what we called it. And I love that that's your story in so many ways. You've made that comeback. You're an overcomer. And I love that. And so a lot of these gals on here, I think it's all gals on here, they need that comeback. Some of them don't, but they're ready to really move forward. They're ready to keep going, ready to move with momentum and keep moving forward. So you guys get ready. I'm going to hand it over to Kodie, and let's all get ready, because it's going to be good.
Thank you so much, Jana. And I could not imagine a better person to share a comeback call than with you. You are such an amazing inspiration yourself. So I am so happy to be here, guys, and was super excited that she asked me to come share my story with you. And this story is new. I mean, my story is not new, but it is new that I am kind of sharing this now. I had to get myself to a certain point where I felt like I was ready to share it. And I felt, honestly, when I was going through the hard stuff in my business, I was searching for somebody like help me find somebody who's done it. who's overcome, who's fallen backward, and who's overcome, and who's not only gotten back to where they wanted to be, but has grown past it. And I could not find a soul that was talking about it. So I prayed hard about it, and I really felt convicted that my story was supposed to be used to inspire and empower other people. So that's what I'm hoping is tonight, that I can do that for you guys. And just if you can come away with one thing, there is nothing wrong with you. Everything that you are going through is completely normal, and you have a decision to make. You are either going to fight or you are going to fold, but that is going to be up to you. So let me just share a little bit about where I've come from. First of all, I'm totally rocking my mom situation tonight, so I hope that's okay. We're all friends here. So if you have any questions come up, I know we're going to do like a little short Q&A after I share my story. So if you have any questions or anything at all during this, pop them in the chat section. We'll try to get to them at the end. But let me just share with you a little bit of how I got started. So I said yes to Plexus after seeing one Facebook post of a gal that I didn't know. We were in a mom's group together, and that was the gist of our relationship. That's all that I knew. I reached out to her, and 2 weeks later, it took me some time to move things around in my own budget, but 2 weeks later, I joined out of complete desperation of just, I needed to lose weight. That's all that I thought Plexus was for initially. I had no idea there was even a business opportunity attached to this. But I said yes for the weight loss, and we were really, really struggling. We were in a point in our lives where I don't think we'd ever been in a point that was different than that, actually. But we were really struggling financially when I said yes to Plexus. Like Jana shared, my husband's a police officer. I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years before Plexus, and he was working 2 and 3 jobs, coming home, falling asleep on the couch in full police gear, like with the bulletproof vest and the whole situation, the belt and all of the things, because he was just exhausted, and we were barely making ends meet that way. It's just a really difficult, it's a difficult way to live. And financial stress is like the worst thing ever. Can I get an amen? But yeah, I found out that there was a business opportunity attached to this about a month after I initially said yes. Thanks to Sonia Dudley, I found a video of hers about the compensation plan. But she said in that video, I used to care what people thought of me until I tried to pay my bills with their opinions. And that was all that I needed in that moment. And so everybody kind of has their turning point moment of when they go all in this business. And that was mine. And I went all in immediately with this business. No idea what I was doing. 160 Facebook friends. I'd never done network marketing, never even heard of network marketing before. But I went all in, and I think it's important for you to note that you can go all in at any moment. You can hit the like everybody has an invisible do-over button, and you can hit that at any moment. Maybe you're going to hit it during this call. I hope so, if you haven't already. But I went all in initially. And so part of my story is that I went from zero like my anxiety was so bad then, guys, that I could not even go to the mailbox without like having diarrhea. Like I was afraid somebody would talk to me. It was so bad. I had no in real life friends. I was like just about recluse, taking 16 Imodium AD pills a day just so I could go to the grocery store. Like it was really bad. So I went from 0 to emerald in 14 months because I worked hard. I talked to anybody who would listen. I was excited. I was desperate. I was sick of doing life by myself. Nobody gets married to be alone, right? And that's the way that we were living. So I was all in from the beginning. So I went emerald in 14 months from the time that I started, 13 months from the time that I started working this business. And I remember going to my first convention as an Emerald ambassador, and the red carpet was rolled out, and it was amazing and nothing that I had ever experienced before. And there were 2 major moments at that convention for me. And the first was sitting down on the floor where all the jewels sit And I remember sitting there and looking around and seeing all of the people that filled that stadium. There was like 13,000 people. It was, gosh, 2016 convention. I think so. Anyway, it was full of people. And I remember looking around and seeing all of these people, and then looking in front of me and seeing the very few chairs compared to all of this, the very few chairs between where I was sitting in the emerald section and the stage. So diamonds, sapphires, emeralds. And I remember thinking, like, holy cow, like, look how far I've come. This is amazing. I was like beaming with pride. I thought, like, the world is my oyster. Like, I'm taking over the world with Plexus. I'm going to the top of this company. Look how many chairs are between me and the top, right? So I was like just pumped. This is the reason why I'm sharing this with you, is because you're going to see how quickly this like mindset can ruin everything. So the next day, it was maybe the next day or like the day after, I don't know, whenever the breakout sessions were. So, you know, y'all are leaders, you know, the way convention works, we have the breakout sessions. I went to that jewel breakout session, and I walked in alone. And I share that on these calls, that word alone, because honestly, that day was the most alone that I have felt in a long, long time. I walked into that jewel session by myself, and I sat down by myself, and I looked around, and I remember the second that the biggest wave of doubt, the first wave of doubt that had washed over me, because remember, my head was down. I didn't care what anybody was saying or what anybody else was doing. Like, I had head down, and I was working for a year straight. I felt like for the first time, I lifted my head up and I started looking around, and all of a sudden, what the heck are you doing here? Like, it just, this huge wave of doubt. Do you even know how you got here? Like, all of these questions, all of this negativity. And then the biggest one, guys, people like you shouldn't be here. People like you don't do this. And I literally, in that moment, I wanted to get up and run out of that room. Like, I don't even remember what they talked about in that jewel section. It was like, you know, the Peanuts cartoon. It was like, wah, wah, wah. It was kind of like that. I literally wanted to run out of the room. And guys, I'm going to share a little bit of my personal story, because I want you guys to know what I mean by people like you don't make it. So I grew up in a house that was full of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, physical abuse. My dad was very, very extremely abusive. It was fear, 24 hours a day, fear. You never know or never knew what was going to happen. I remember on the way home from school on the school bus, we would get about halfway there, and I would just get the worst stomach pains, because the stress was like, you didn't know what you were walking into. It was like 24/7 guard up. And that's what I dealt with my whole childhood. And when you live that way, my father passed away when I was 16 years old, but the fear didn't go away. Like, it was embedded into my brain. And when you live that way for so long, it kind of, it evolves into the issues that I just talked about, the extreme anxiety. I was diagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, during that time of my life when we were going through all that physical abuse, I spent some time in homeless shelters and battered women shelters with my mom and with my older sister. I've got a sister who's 2 years older than me. She was born with Mobius syndrome. So it's a nerve issue. It's a paralysis of the face. She's had 16 surgeries. Like, we've went through a lot in our lives. And so people like you don't make it. That's what I kept telling myself. And I remember going home from that convention feeling so defeated, knowing that I had a choice to make, that I was either going to fight for this or I was going to fold. And I reminded myself of the time when I decided that I was going to be the one to change everything from generations and generations of abuse. My parents were this way. Their parents were this way on both sides. I remember the moment too when I decided I was going to do that. And it was just like I woke up one day, kind of like how we wake up one day and we're just sick and unwell and we're ready to change our lives, right, with this business opportunity. I remember I woke up one day and I was like, I was 18, I was married, I had a baby, like my life was, I was walking a path of destruction, living the same way that my parents did. And I remember just waking up one day and thinking, this is not good enough. I didn't have the how or the what. I had the why. This was not good enough for me. It was not good enough for my kids. And so I did. I changed everything. I changed generations of abuse in just that one moment that I made a decision. When I came home from that convention, I knew that I had another decision to make. I was either going to fight for this or I was going to fold. And I wanted to fight because, again, my kids deserve better. I deserve better in spite of what was going on up here. And guys, mindset is everything. That is the first thing I knew that I had to fix, was my mindset. When I came home, my business started to crumble. And there was a lot of different reasons for that. I built fast. I didn't build smart. I had legs that were quitting, things that was happening in my business, which also reiterated everything that I thought was true, or everything that I thought in that Jewel session, right? It was almost like proof that you're right. You can't do this. You're not good at this. You don't even know what you're doing. Like all of those things. I knew that my mindset needed to be fixed. The most amazing thing that I could have done for my personal mindset was to read Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. So without that book, I don't know that I would have believed wholeheartedly that I could completely change those thoughts. One, it gave me the empowerment to know that you have a choice. Like you don't have to, just because you think it doesn't mean that it's true. And side note, those negative thoughts are never going to go away. So if you're thinking those now and you're waiting for you to just be so good at this that you just don't think those bad things anymore, that doesn't happen. There are double diamonds that doubt themselves. Like this, it is normal. Just because you're having negative thoughts doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're a negative person or that you suck at it or whatever. It just means that you're human. It's normal. But that book gave me the empowerment to know that I had a choice, that I could not only flip those things around and choose not to think of them, I could completely reprogram the way that I thought. I could change those, take those negative thoughts and flip into positive, just kind of like how your mind, like this is how powerful our minds are. It knows its job is to protect us, right? So if you're up against something that's fearful or uncomfortable, your mind is going to give you 100 different reasons or excuses why you shouldn't do that. But if you know that that's a thing, you can call it out and you can flip it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between being fearful and being excited. So you can actually take those moments of fear and change them into moments of excitement and completely reprogram your brain. It's absolutely fascinating. So if you have not got that book, it's Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. Best thing I ever did for my mindset. The next thing I needed to do, guys, was I needed to figure myself out. Like I needed this moment of self-discovery. I came from a really crappy past. I immediately started a family. I changed everything in my life and made my life better, and made my kids' lives better. But I never had a moment of like to figure out who Kodie was. Like, what did I like? What did I want? What did I like about myself? Which is a big one. I can ask most people, like, tell me what you don't like about yourself or tell me what you suck at. And y'all will be able to tell me a million things, right? But it takes real like intentionality to pinpoint things that you like about yourself and hone in on those things. So this is kind of a silly little exercise, but I did it. It worked for me. I don't even know. I think I just decided one day, like this is crazy. I need to figure out what I like about myself. I got a pen and a paper. I got a glass of wine. I went and made a bubble bath. I got in and I started writing what I like about me or whatever. And I started thinking, or I am dot, dot, dot. That's what it was. I am dot, dot, dot. I am a survivor. I am a warrior. I am an inspiration. I am a hard worker. I am a great mom. I am fun. I'm funny. I got jokes. I started writing all of these things that I really liked about myself. And guess what happened? My confidence started going up. I started getting excited about like what I have to give. Like God gives us all gifts, right? But if we overshadow it by all of the things that we don't like about ourselves or that we suck at, like we're not serving ourselves well, we're not serving others, we're not serving God. So I wrote out all of these things. My confidence started going up. And then I got really excited to just figure myself out even more. So I took the color personality test of MLM, the 4 color personalities of MLM. So I got my color down. I did the Myers-Briggs test, which was really exciting. I started figuring out, Strengths Finders 2.0 was a really good one. Because it's that whole saying, if you judge a fish, or if a fish judges itself by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to go its whole life thinking that it totally sucks, right? So you've got to figure out what you're strong at and work in those skills. So anyway, I went through this period of self-discovery, and something that I'm really interested in now is the Enneagrams. Anybody like a fan of the Enneagrams? It's super, super fascinating. And what's really cool about this is I'm an 8. So I'm reading the chapter, or as I'm listening to the chapter, I'm seeing myself act out this certain kind of ways throughout my life. And it's really cool to know that I'm functioning now as a healthy 8. I wasn't always, and I could see that too in there. But that is the power of personal growth. And had I not gone through this for this business specifically, because I didn't do any personal growth initially. Like I remember my sponsor telling me that I needed to do personal growth, and I thought that she meant that she wanted me to meditate. And I was like, what even is that? Like, I'm not doing that. But I can see the growth as I'm going through this chapter now. And that's something that's really, really exciting. But I am a firm believer that you cannot be good for or with others if you are not good initially with yourself. So you've got to get good with you. Okay. And in doing that, you've got to flip your mindset, because this business is 80% mindset and 20% tool set. Y'all know what to do, or you wouldn't be here. Now you got to get, this is your biggest obstacle. You are your biggest asset, and you're also your biggest obstacle in your business. So if you are not proactively daily working on your mindset or your personal growth, that is just 100% where I started, and where I believe that everybody should start. So the next thing I did, guys, was make changes in my business. So remember when I said that I was proactively looking for a story, like give me somebody that could inspire me to do this. One, guys, rebuilding is normal. Okay. That's something I didn't know. Like I didn't know that you could go backwards in this business. I didn't know that you could not go to Hawaii for the second time. I went the first time, but I missed 2 years in a row. I didn't know any of that. Here's the thing. If no one has told you this, it is normal to go backwards. We wish this business was like this, right? It is not linear. It's like this. It's like, hey, Macarena, like it's crazy. That's normal. There is nothing wrong with you. Eric Worre, an expert in our field, he's said on many videos that he's had to rebuild his own business 7 times. Like it is completely normal. But when I was proactively looking for a story, I remember finding one story. And it wasn't even a whole story, but I'll share the story that I found with you. So, I mean, it wasn't a story of her journey, but it was, yeah. Okay. So this gal, I don't know who it is. I wish I did, but I don't remember who it was. She shared that she was at corporate headquarters, and she was invited into Charles' office. Now, I don't know if she was there with a group, or she was like doing a tour, or I don't know what she was doing, but she was invited into Charles' office by Charles. So, which is completely normal. I've been to corporate headquarters too, and Alec Clark had his door wide open, and he's like, come on in. And it was like the weirdest, most amazing thing in my opinion. But anyway, so she was in his office, and she said that she literally just broke down and was like telling him, like I've gone backwards in my business. I lost everything. My points are down, blah, blah, blah. And so he looks at her and he says, you did it once, build it again. And it's so simple, guys, but so profound. And I could not imagine what I would have thought had that been me in that moment, having Taro tell me that. But I personally found so much hope in that. You did it once, build it again. You guys have done it once. You can build it again. If you've done it once, you can do it 1,000,000 times. That means you know this business. But it goes back to this. Your mindset, guys. It's your biggest obstacle right now. So what I did in my business. So I knew the first thing I needed to do was do this, right? People who lack personal growth, they do this. It's everybody else's fault. It's my team. My team stinks. My upline stinks. Like, it's everybody's fault, right? Excuses, all of the things. I knew that because I had read books before, said a good leader does this. So I looked at myself, okay, what do I need? What do I need to work on? I knew that I had no leadership skills. I've never had to like lead or do this before. Like, that is a skill. Nobody is born a great leader. Nobody is born knowing how to do any of this stuff. It's all learned skill. So I knew that I needed to grow in my leadership. I also knew that I needed to learn how to have relationships with people. I came from a crappy background. Like, I didn't know what a healthy relationship even looked like. My anxiety was so bad. I never was a friend before. And I know it sounds silly, but I really didn't know how to be a friend or how to have a relationship or how to care about people well. I didn't know. So I had to hone in on those two skills. So for me, it was Developing the Leader Within You by John Maxwell, and How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've read that 5 times. And then Develop the Leaders Around You. Those are 3 books that I really honed in on my own personal leader. I didn't do a book study with my team or anything like that. I think this was for me. And so I made sure that I took 30 minutes a day and I was working on these different skills. I also knew that there were areas of my business that I needed to fix. This was really hard. I had to trust the process. I had to put going to Hawaii on the back burner, because there were times where I was like, I could probably bust out 1,000 points in 2 weeks. Like, sure, it's been done before, right? Like, who needs a triplex? I traded building fast for building smart. And I knew that I didn't just want to get back there. I wanted to get back there, keep it, and then keep growing. That is the business that I wanted. So sure, it was hard for me to see people go to Hawaii, but I knew that I had things that I needed to work on in my business, and I was working, guys. That's another thing. I never stopped working my personal business. During my period of self-discovery, during my pity party when I came home from a convention, I never stopped working my personal business. And I know sometimes people could think working your business means working with your team and coaching and all of these things. No, you can't stop working your personal business, your personal IPA, reaching out to new potential, signing people up all of the time, all of those things. So I had to trust the process, and I had to rebuild smart. So I knew that I needed to work on subscriptions. I needed to work on developing silvers. I needed to work on recruiting, like my team recruiting more people. And then like 199 packs, had to work on those types of things. So here's the mistake that I made. I tried to fix it all at the same time. And that was not working. Like, it was just chaos. Like, even I was the one doing it and I was confused. I knew that my team had to be confused, right? So I broke these things down in sections. As I was developing myself and doing my personal growth, I was working my business in sections, not working my business in sections, but I was fixing things in my business in sections rather. So for like 60 to 90 days, I would focus on subscriptions, helping my team to know what to do if someone came in with it off, giving them verbiage and training them on how to get subscriptions on initially, all of our team incentives were for subscriptions. If you had your subscription on, everybody with their subscription on, drop a thing below and get entered to win a prize or whatever. I did that for a small span, and then I focused on silvers, and I did these things in sections. And what I realized is, as I was really focusing on those things in sections, I was fixing that area, and I was training a group of people, my up and coming leaders, right? How to get really good at one thing instead of trying to get them really good at 100 different things at one time. So I think that played a really big role in my comeback and developing leaders and empowering my team. Trusting the process was the most hard thing of this whole thing. I'm a 8, I'm a red. Trusting the process was not my cup of tea, but you've got to trust the process. They say that 90 days, work this business in 90-day span. So like the work that you did 90 days before today, you're going to be reaping those rewards today, like all of those things, but you've got to trust the process. Sometimes, leadership growth and changing these things, it's not measurable right away. But if you know that you're doing the right things in your business and you stick with it long enough and trust the process, you will see the rewards of that, but you've got to trust the process. So my top tips, guys, because I want to open this up for questions. I never stopped working my business. You can't stop working your business. And that's your personal business, IPA. So if you don't know where to start, like you're feeling stuck, you've gone through all of these different things, like you're ready to jump back in, but sometimes it feels overwhelming, start with your own personal business. The best way to motivate an existing team is to build a new one. There are going to be some people that's going to see you get re-energized and re-excited about your business, and they're going to want to come back. But it's going to start with you. And that's another thing. If you have lost that passion and excitement for your business, you have got to find it. That's what separates the big dogs from the other guys, is if you can show up in your business with the same intensity during good times and bad times, that is what makes a good leader. That is what's going to take you to the next level, is the ability to show up with that same excitement and intensity. So if you found that you've lost that in your business, you got to find it. That means going back to your why. Maybe your why is changed. Maybe it's evolved into something else. Revisit your why. Reignite your passion for the products or for this business opportunity. If that means you do what you did in the very beginning, and you're watching documentaries about the sugar and the health crisis in America, or you are watching The Secret or like Tony Robbins, or whatever you're doing to remotivate yourself about this business, about these products, guys, people can feel it, and they want to follow people who are excited. If you're just finding that you're just going through the motions, people know, your team knows, your potentials know. So you have got to reignite your fire. It's going to start with you. It's not going to just happen when all of a sudden your team just miraculously goes into momentum. No, it starts with you. You are the leader. Jana, it's not her responsibility. It is your responsibility. It's time that we all take our own businesses by the you-know-whats, and we just do what we got to do to get re-excited and change what we need to change and fix what we need to fix within ourselves, and just do this thing, right? But I improved, guys. I've been through the fire. My points went down to 800. I hit Emerald initially that one time. I didn't hit it again until February of this year. I regained Emerald. In April, 2 months later, I missed Sapphire by 200 points. Guys, it is so stinking possible for you to make your own comeback story. But it's going to start with your decision to change what you need to change and do what you need to do. Y'all know what to do. You've done it once. You got to build it again. Okay. That's all I got. Do you want to open it for questions, Jana, or maybe you want to share some thoughts?
Yeah, that was so good. That so spoke to my heart. Thank you, Kodie. I know that it spoke to the heart of so many of you guys on here. And I want to ask you a question real quick. I thought it was a good question. I think Melissa asked you this, and I just thought it was such a good question to ask. What would you say if someone asked you, is it worth it is it worth it to do the work that is required to rebuild and to get back into the game? Is it worth it?
Okay, I don't know if y'all seen this, but I got so excited. My hair tie busted out of my ponytail. So that is how you know that you are doing a good call, right? So yes, oh my gosh, guys, it is so worth it. And I'm going to tell you that it's sweeter the second time. So I went to Hawaii initially that first time, and it was amazing, right? Going to your convention as a jewel for the first time, like all of those things, amazing. Guys, when I went to Hawaii this last time in Maui a couple weeks ago, I remember waking up. I got there at like 1 a.m., so I couldn't see anything. But I remember waking up the next morning and seeing just paradise. And I was literally like overwhelming gratitude, like alligator tears, crying like a baby, completely grateful and overwhelmed with pride. Like, I did this. I was able to do this. And I knew that I had to share my story and to inspire other people to do it also, because it is so possible and it is so much sweeter the second time. I'm going to share one more story with you real quick, because I want you to see the power that mindset has over you. When I was at convention in like 2017 or I think it was 2017. I don't remember. I was not a re-ranking emerald, and I was sitting down, and I remember a gal sitting right in front of me, and she turned around in the jewel section. I don't even know who this was. I tried to find her, but I couldn't. She turns around and she looks right at me, and she's like, "This is going to be so weird. Like, it's the weirdest thing. But ever since we sat down, God has been telling me to tell you that you are kind of a big deal." I mean, I just started bawling. But guys, I went home feeling like not a big deal, even though I truly believe that that was a message from God. Like, our mindsets it's so powerful. But you guys are kind of a big deal, or you wouldn't be here right now. People need you. And yes, to answer your question, it is so much sweeter the second time. Involve your families. The celebration, the time I say the second time, but when I re-hit Emerald, the celebration in this house was unreal. It was not like the first time. The first time was great. The second time, like, we blew the roof off of this house when I regained Emerald. Yes, it is so worth it. Times a million. The same reasons why I wanted to do this initially, those don't go away, guys. The same reason you said yes to this business, it didn't go away. It's still there, and it's probably even more powerful than your initial why. But you got to revisit it, figure it out, and make a decision.
Kodie, I just had goosebumps as you were just now talking. Like, I really did. I just got goosebumps, and I got kind of teary because I just had the image of you going diamond eventually one day. And oh my gosh, that's going to be an exciting day. I hope that I get to hear from you on that day, because that will be an exciting day, the day you go diamond. But I'm looking at all these faces on here and looking like the same potential is there for every one of you. It is there. You guys are a big deal. You have sacrificed. You have poured yourself into this company. You have poured yourself into your teams, and you are a big deal. And I don't know. I just got goosebumps. That was so exciting to me. And I just want you to know, Kodie, like, thinking about you getting in that bathtub and writing out who you are. And you said, I'm a survivor. I'm an inspiration. I'm funny. You are all those things. And so I love that that's where you started, and now you see where you are. Do you mind really quick, and then we'll see if we have just a couple minutes. I love the story you shared. You took your sister to Hawaii, and will you just share real quick what she said to you about the trip and about the people she was surrounded by in Hawaii?
So like, I'm about to cry. Like, you're about to make me cry talking about my own story. Like, it's amazing, guys, because I believe it. Like, I truly believe that I will be diamond, and you have to have that. You have to have that belief. And if you don't, you got to find it. And you got to get through all of this yuck. So yeah, so I was able to take my sister to Maui this year, and Maria's been through a lot, and my husband couldn't go for personal reasons, and so she was the first person that I thought of, like, if anybody deserves an amazing trip like this, it's her. She's been through so much in her life. So yeah, we went to Hawaii together, and we shared a bed until I was 16 and she went off to college. So it was kind of, and we hadn't spent time together for like 4 or 5 years. We haven't really spent some time together. So it was interesting being together in a room, in a hotel room together for a week. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, so Maria had the time of her life in Hawaii, and she looked at me at one point, and it was after the luau. And she said, y'all have something real special here. I've never felt more accepted in all of my life. And so Maria, she's, like I said, she's been through so much in her life, and she's been through a lot of, she has her own inspirational story. And I wish we had more time, I'd tell it to you guys. But for her to see that what we have is so special, and the people that we have in this company are so special. Y'all are amazing and special, and the world needs you to be bold. People need you. All people need you. People who are struggling, people who are not struggling, like, everybody needs you to be bold and be your best self. So it's going to come down to, are you willing to put in the work to do that and to be that, so that you can help more people.
Thank you. Okay, we've got like 8 minutes, and Kodie has to then hop off because she has another call to hop onto. So if you have a question, I think the questions on the chat have pretty much been answered, but I'm going to just tell you, if you have a question, just unmute real quick and ask Kodie whatever your question is. So we got just a few minutes to do it. So anybody got a question?
I do.
Go for it, Terry.
All right. I loved how you talked about breaking things into pieces, into 60 to 90-day chunks, because for type red personality, you're like, get it done. Everybody, yesterday, you should already be doing it, and just trusting the process. You mentioned subscription orders. You mentioned, what else did you mention? Anyway, I'm wondering what kind of things, in addition to subscription order, what are some other things that you would suggest breaking into chunks? Because I'm one of these people, I want them to already do it yesterday.
So I think recruiting was another big one. And with that, you could do really focusing on income producing activities, what that even looks like, giving people verbiage to use. So recruiting is a big one. And then also right now, $1.99 packs. People really need help with that. And when we focused on $1.99 packs, it was, again, a same thing. Like, any little trainings that went into the team page was all around that $1.99 packs. Any kind of incentives, team incentives or prizes, was all about, like, get an entry when you enroll someone with a $1.99 pack or something like that. So those are probably the two other ones that I would say are really important.
Good deal. Okay, that's brilliant. Trust the process. Oh, it's so hard.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the hardest. That and relationships was two of the hardest things for me in rebuilding this business. Trusting the process is difficult, because I get you. You're just like, why haven't you done this yesterday?
Well, and it's not that we don't trust the process. In reality, it's like we know that it works. It's just doing it in the middle of it, being patient enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been fabulous. Thanks, Kodie.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Go, Kylie.
Okay, I hope I can like express this correctly. I'm kind of all over the place and also very emotional after this call. So who knows what's going to happen here. Okay. But my question is, how do you like help your team build the right mindset? Because sometimes when I think about like my own journey, I'm like, wow, like it's a miracle that I even like, it really has been a very like self-discovery process, but I feel like I'm like, is everybody up for that? I don't know. And so I'm just like, how do you speak that truth into your team so that they can also get to a point where it's like an intrinsic desire to find the right mindset, and so that you're not just like pulling them along? Is it like words that you speak life into them? Is it resources? Is it just an act of God? Like, is it all of it? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. And so I think that just being transparent and sharing your story is incredibly important. And in doing that, and I don't necessarily like this story that I'm sharing with you and I did with Melissa Eichenhorst's team. Like, I didn't post that in my team page. I don't believe that's necessarily for everyone. But my leaders, my workers, people who really want to do this, they've seen it. And so then I can say, I've been here. I've gotten stuck because I didn't do the personal growth. Like, it's our duty as leaders to say, or to learn, right? To fail, and then we learn. But this is the part people forget. They forget the part where you take what you've learned and you share it with others to help prevent them from not making the same mistakes, from not like, if we can prevent somebody else from getting stuck, I mean, isn't that, it's our duty and our job as their friends and as their upline to share those things. So that's the way that I share it with them. I don't want this to happen to you. Here's what happened to me. Here's what I've learned. And after that, I mean, you're responsible for the effort, not the outcome. Right. So if they take it or whether they leave it, that's not your problem. You did your job by just saying, here's what I found. Here's what I did that really helped. And then again, if they take it or leave it, it's kind of up to them. But I preach personal growth like nothing else, because it is this. If this business is 80% mindset, 20% tool set, why are we not preaching personal growth and mindset training 24 hours a day? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's that.
Good. That's really good. And I love what you just said. Like, our responsibility is the effort, not the outcome, because wow, did I need that? I'm such like a type A control. I love to like be in control of everything. And so you're right though. Sometimes you just have to do your part and then let go and know that it's going to fall where it needs to fall. That's so hard for me though. But that's,
yeah, no, it is totally hard, but your job is to not make everybody successful.
Right.
Your job is to love people well, offer them support, show them, give them the tools that they need. Whether they take a hold of that or not, that's not on you. Right. Some people are simply not willing to show up for their own rescue, and that's not our problem. But as long as we are being transparent, we're being encouraging, sharing our story, giving people the tools that they need, I think that's all that we can do, right?
Yeah, that's so good. I'm like sitting here crying. That's so good.
Yeah, so good. I love that. Some people aren't willing to show up for their own rescue. Isn't that good? That is perfect. Okay, does anybody else have a quick question? They have to be quick. All right, Kodie, leave us with one action item that we can go do tonight.
Oh my gosh, print out an IPA sheet and get your work done, honey. I think that is the most important thing, is your own personal IPA. Guys, reaching out to people and following up with people is everything. I don't know where I would be had I not done that, had I stopped working my personal business. But my biggest tip is, you are your team's, your family's biggest asset. You've got to start treating yourself that way. Self-love is incredibly important. And if you are not taking care of you, have you ever heard that saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy? You're all mama. You got to take care of yourself. because your team will feel it. You will feel it as you work. Your family will feel it. So you got to take care of you. Find out what you need personally to take care of yourself. I do like 10 minutes of yoga in the morning. I get my reading done, and like I got my me time. But you're not going to be able to pour out of your cup forever if you're not proactively filling it. So if I said one action step for your business, do your own personal IPA. Stop worrying so much about your team. And 2 is you got to take care of you, mama.
Thank you, Kodie. That was amazing. I told you guys, didn't I? Like, was that not amazing? I know you have to hop off, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Kodie. I really can't wait to the day I see you go Sapphire, and then I know Diamond will be right around the corner for you. There is no doubt in my mind that you got it, sister. So thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome to hop off. You guys stick around for just a few more minutes. There's just a couple more things I want to share with you guys. I want to thank you for hopping on here. Bye, Kodie. I know that a lot of us have been in the trenches for a while. I know a lot of us have been ready for a comeback for a while, and we've been trying to figure this out. Tonight, in my opinion, was a God-ordained call. I can't even tell you the things that happened, just the things that have happened to make this all fall into place. And the way it's fallen into place, I was like, holy cow, like I couldn't have even seen that coming. And then for Plexus to roll out a re-rank promotion, I was just like, my mind was blown when I saw it. I was like, holy cow. It's just the perfect timing for so many of us to jump back in and get back into the game. So many of you never left the game. You didn't. You're still in there. And it's just the perfect timing for you guys to start really seeing some momentum and start seeing some great things happen for your team. The thing that I want to talk to you about, and I'm just going to keep you for a few more minutes, and then if you can, I want you to get on Michelle Thomas's call as she interviews Tarl. Oh, some exciting news. Then I'll go back to all the harder stuff, I guess. I have to break it up because I'm like, I can't be all mean, and I got to break it up with some fun news. You guys know I'm not really that mean. It's hard for me to be mean. Sometimes I'm like, I need to be meaner. Like, I need to be like, hey, come on. And it's really hard for me to do that. You guys, another new product is coming out the end of this month. Did you guys know that? Actually, it's coming out at Leaders Retreat. It is not a reformulation. It is not a new flavor of lean. It is not a new flavor of anything. It is a whole brand new product, and I think a lot of you will be very excited. I've seen some of you ask for it, so I'm very excited about it. It's coming out at Leaders Retreat, so I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I don't think I can share anything else, and don't quote me on anything that I just said, because I will totally deny it even though I'm still recording this call, so that's pretty dumb. But it's coming. So I'm really excited. So Leaders Retreat is when it's going to be announced. So what is that, like 2 weeks away? When is Leader? I don't even know. Really soon. So I think it's going to be, I'm really excited about it. I know some of you, I'm looking at your faces and I'm like, oh yeah, they've asked for this and they've asked for this. So I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a really great product and a really big addition to our product line. And like I said, it's not a reformulation. It's not another lean. It's a good one. So I'm very excited. So let's go back though. I just want to talk to you about where we are, where we go from here. I think we've learned tonight kind of where we go from here. Where do we go from here? We start by working on ourselves, but while we're working on ourselves, we don't quit working, right? Worst thing you can do. But we have to take the time to work on ourselves. We have to take the time to do that personal development, learn who we are. We have to know who we are before we can pour into other people. That's one of the biggest things I've learned on this journey is when I'm working with someone one-on-one and I can get a real taste of their personality and who they are, man, one, it makes me just love them. I just love them for who they are and how God created them. I'm so thankful we're not all the same. I'm thankful that there's 9 different Enneagram personalities. I'm thankful that we have all the different colors. I'm thankful for that because it would be really, really boring if we were all the same. And so it makes me love the people on my team more. and better and easier, but it also allows me to know how to work with them and how to help them to grow when I can understand who they are and how God created them and how to help them be the healthiest personality they can be. And then in turn, it helps them to be the healthiest leader they can be. You guys know it's easy to be a really good leader and to be a really good ambassador and to be totally in love with all of our Plexus products when everything is going well, right? But when when the momentum stops, when things kind of level out and we don't know what to do, that's actually when being a leader counts. That's when people are looking to you to be the leader. They are looking for you to step up and to lead. That is why the personal development that she talked about so much, that's why it is so, so vital. So I'm looking at my notes over here. The last thing this really is, I'm pretty sure the last thing I just want to leave you with, and I talked about this on a live I did on this leadership page. I get on this leadership page a lot, so I hope that you check it or get the notifications for it. I just think it's really key so that I have a place to communicate with you as leaders, because no matter how you view yourself, if you ever reach gold in this business, I view you as a leader in this business because it is not easy to reach gold. And I want you to know, if you reach gold and you have lost it, you can reach it again. And it is worth it to reach it again. But I kind of got off of a rabbit trail there. What I want to talk to you about, though, and I did a video on this when I came home from my leadership class here back this summer. I want to talk to you about just being grateful, because I think that is truly just the key to so many things. I want you to think back to when you started. I want you to think back to when you got your first check with Plexus. I want you to think back to when you realized that you were so excited that you found this business, that you found something to help your health, and you found something to help your family finances. Because how excited were you? How excited and grateful were you when you got your first check? I know how excited I was when I got my first check, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what they just paid me to tell some people about these products. I really couldn't believe it. My husband couldn't believe it. He was a little bit like, okay, well, that's great, but we'll see what happens next month. I kind of showed him. But I'm telling you, I was so excited. I was so excited when I made my first $1,000 with this business, because I knew I was actually making a difference in my family's budget. I was excited, and boy, was I ever grateful. My gratitude level for this was way off the charts. And then what happens? We somehow get into this mindset of expecting it, of just expecting it to happen. And we honestly, then if our paycheck does go backwards, we're ungrateful. We get an ungrateful heart. And it's like, where does this come from? A lot of times the work was put in, but a lot of times it wasn't. And we still got a paycheck. Like, how many jobs does that actually happen in, to where you can put in a few months of work and then maybe you can take off a few months of work and you're still getting a paycheck? That doesn't really happen anywhere else, does it? Like, it just doesn't happen. And so I just want you to remember that a grateful heart is honestly going to be so important as you continue on this journey, as you jump back into this journey. This dream that you had, at some point you had a dream. At some point you started this business, you realized the potential, and you said, I'm going to be a jewel, or I'm going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to be a diamond. But you somehow along the way forgot that this actually requires a journey, and you're still on this journey. I'm still on this journey. And a lot of you, I can remember early on, a phrase that we said a lot was, would you do this if it took 10 years to go diamond? And everybody be like, well, yeah, I would go 10 years to be diamond and be making $30,000 a month. Heck yeah, I would work 10 years towards that. So what's happened? There's not one of you that's been in it for 10 years, because I've only been in it for 6. So what happened along the way? Where along the way did you subconsciously think to yourself, oh, it's not worth it to work this business for 10 years and see what happens? Something happened along the way, and most likely it was that you forgot to be grateful for what you found. And so I just want you to know that I'm speaking in general here, but there's some of you that you haven't experienced this, so I don't want to discourage you in any way. There are some teams on here, some faces I'm looking at, that you're like, we're still doing pretty good. Like, our points are still climbing. We're doing all right. But I want you to know that if you're not, that what we are experiencing right now, it is normal. It is normal in this business. It's normal in network marketing industry. And momentum will come back. It's going to come back. It is what happens in this market, in this industry. So I want you to think about it. Where are you going to be when it does come back? Because you do have a choice. And if you decide to quit now, if you hang up and you say it's still not worth it to me, and then all of a sudden you start seeing all these gals sitting on this call right now, you start seeing things happen for them, and you're going to be kicking yourself because you're going to be going, she told me I had a choice. And so I'm telling you tonight, you do have a choice, because it will come, the momentum will come back. It is normal for things to take to level out. That is normal for pretty much any business, but it's really normal in network marketing. And that is where we're at. That is what we're seeing. And so I want to tell you that. I don't want anybody to ever come back to me and be like, you should have told me it was going to come back. You should have told me the momentum was going to come back. You should have told me the mountaintops were still going to happen. So I'm telling you now that they are. So, but it really does all go back to gratitude. And we have to be overcome with gratitude for right where we are right now. We have to lean into right where we are right now. I don't want you to think about the past and where you've been in the past. I want you to look at your points right now. I want you to look at the ambassadors you have on your team right now. And I want you to lean into that with a full heart of gratitude. When you do that, everything starts to change up here, because you're overwhelmed with emotion and with gratitude for this company and for who has joined you already. And so stop thinking about all the people you still need. And I want you to think about the people that have joined you and who is moving forward. And I don't care if you're sitting there going, well, Jana, I don't have anybody moving forward with me. Well, if you're on this call, you've signed some people. They may not be working, but they're most likely giving you some points. And if they're not, a lot of them will come back. And it's okay if you do have to go out and find new people. You have, like she said, you found them in the past and you can find them again. You can do this. So I want you to be grateful for the now, because it's like I said, I did on a video that I did a little while ago. If you can't find the joy in where you are right now, and I'm talking about what rank you're holding right now, and I don't care if that's even a silver ambassador, if your rank has fallen back to silver, if you can't be grateful for the fact that you have reached silver, at one time reached gold with this company, if you can't find the joy in that, you're going to have the hard time finding the joy in being an emerald with Plexus. You just are. So find the joy, find the heart of gratitude for that, and it's going to help you so much in moving forward. So I've gone a little bit later, but I just want to give you this challenge. Kodie gave us so many answers to so many of your questions. I know so many of you didn't have a lot of questions at the end because she answered so many of them on the call. She gave us books. She gave us action items. She told us how to work on our mindset. She gave us how we go forward with working with our teams, giving us those 60 to 90 day chunks of areas to work on. I mean, she really just handed us what we need on a silver platter in so many ways, didn't she? And she made it so simple. And, she gave us several books to read. So are you willing to put it into action though? Or are you just going to hang up, and is it just going to be one of those things again where you're like, well, that was a great call. That was so good. But like she did at convention that one year where she had that motivation. She was like, I'm moving up those seats. I'm going to move up to diamond. And then self-doubt set in, and she sat there and thought, who am I? Are you going to hang up and do that? If you do, I want you to message me right away, because I will call you and I will verbally kick your butt. So don't do it, but I will call you and kick your butt if that's what you hang up from this call and do. We can talk all day long. We can do calls all day long. We can do this all day long, right? This is fun to me. I love doing these, and I think they're very needed, and then we're going to start doing more of them. But until you're ready to actually put into the work that's needed, nothing's going to ever move forward. If you're not willing to take what she gave you today and take it and apply it, right? I mean, that's just like going to sitting in church every single Sunday, and we hear all this, we take in all this stuff from the preacher and from God's word, but if we never apply it, what good is it to us? And so it goes for the same thing that we've learned tonight. And I want you to know first, the last thing too, I keep saying the last thing, don't I? I'm so like a preacher. Can you tell I'm a preacher's daughter? I'm like, one more thing. But no, really, one more thing. Kodie didn't really share a little bit about her, like what happened on her team. One of I believe it was her actual strongest leg, went through a very traumatic issue with her mom and some problems. And basically she just stepped back, which is understandable, right? It was really, really, really hard time. And she stepped back, and what Kodie did mention that she didn't mention on our call, but I believe it was on the other call, or maybe it was just talking with her. Kodie worked hard on reaching out to everyone on her team. Now, some of them, if you have, several levels down, it's always interesting to me when I try to reach out to them. Some of them are like, yes, we would love to talk to you. Yes. And then other times it's just crickets, right? Because they don't know me. And so it's really hard sometimes to build those relationships. But that is, she shared that, I believe it was on the other call maybe. That is what she did. She did not just let that leg die. She didn't let it just, wilt away. Like I see happen so many times. People are like, well, this, my level one who built this strong team left. And so you want to blame it on that. And that goes back to you as a leader saying, okay, I got to look here. I got to look here, not here. I got to look here. So what can I do? What do I need to do? I need to say, okay, this leader is not here right now for whatever reason it is. And I need to take this thing by the horns, and I need to figure out what I need to do, because the reality is, if you have a level 2, if you have a level 3, if you have a level 4, they are on your team. And I've had a personal conversation with you, I've told you that. Because so many times we get stuck, we think we just want to work with our level 1s because those are the people that sign with us, and we don't know how to go and approach a level 2 that doesn't know us. But the reality is they are on your team, and they are looking for you for leadership. A prime example of this is I buy Beauty Counter. I buy a few products from Beauty Counter. I've actually just recently begged Plexus, like, will you please come out with a face wash, and will you make it just like Beauty Counter's face wash? I basically told them that. But Beauty Counter is a network marketing company. I was buying from a gal who her husband worked with Steve, and she quit. She quit Beauty Counter, and I did have the thought to myself, maybe I should look for someone else selling Beauty Counter, because I like to support other network marketers, especially when they support me. But I do. I enjoy doing that. I like to support other women. And do you know what happened though? Her sponsor that I had not heard from stepped in immediately. Her name's Amanda. I've sort of built a relationship with her, and I never want to switch now. You want to know why? Every time I order, Amanda reaches out to me. She's like, thanks for your order, Jana. I'm here to help you. I just placed a big order with Beauty Counter a week or 2 ago, and I got this little package in the mail with a little sample lip gloss. And so I will never switch ordering from Amanda now, because I have built a relationship with her, and I can see why she is successful with Beauty Counter. She stepped in when there was a void. She filled the void. She built somewhat of a relationship. No, we have never talked on the phone with each other. So when I say relationship, you need to know what that is. We've never talked on the phone. We've never had a personal conversation ever. It has been strictly Beauty Counter, but I'm stuck with Amanda. I like Amanda. She values my business, and she's going to keep getting my business. So when you have a situation like that where a level one maybe isn't working, or you don't know what to do, you just need to step in. You need to do it gracefully, and you need to do it kindly. And the thing I always tell people is, if I have a level 2 that needs my help, I will help them. And many of you know, if I have a level 6 that needs my help, I will help them. And if anybody in between says anything, I mean, I would never do anything to hurt my level 6, because that would hurt me, right? That would be so super dumb of me to do that. And so in turn, that's only going to help whoever they're signed up under, whether they are still active or they're not active or whatever it is. You guys, it's just common sense. This is a team. This is your team, and you need to tap into your team. And you need to tap in, and you need to find those 2s and 3s that want to work. I guarantee you probably have them. You just may not know that you have them because you haven't reached out to them. So that's, again, one of those things where you're like, okay, I got to look back at me. I got to quit looking at that level 1 that's not working or has quit or whatever. And I got to go back to me and see how can I fix this. Okay. So that's Kodie's story. You guys know, I mean, on this team, man, boy, we are all about grace, because boy, I have needed a lot of grace. And so I show grace when someone needs it on this team. I'm not expecting you to work a gazillion miles an hour every single day, 24 hours a day. I would totally discourage that. And I do discourage that, because that results in burnout. And I do not want you to go through burnout. That is, when you go through burnout, you can't even do your personal business. It's hard to even recruit personally. So I don't want you to experience burnout. So I want you to come up with a way of working your business to where it's at from a heart of gratitude, where you want to see growth, and where you're regularly working though. So I just wanted to encourage you though to take the challenge that Kodie set out before us. Take the tools, the action tools that she has given us. This hasn't just been a motivational call, even though it has been a motivational call. She has given us action tools, and those are my favorite kind of calls, is when someone can give me motivation, give me what I need here, and now I know what to do with my hands. I know what to do tomorrow or even yet tonight. Okay. Those are my favorite kind of calls. And that is what we have heard tonight. So it's up to you what you do with it. I can't make you do it. It's up to you what you move forward and you do with this. So, all right. I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions? I don't want to get deep into business questions. I am more than happy to ever jump on the phone with any of you. I've put that out there on this page before. So if you need a call with me, I'm looking at so many faces of people that I've done calls with, but I am more than happy to do a call with you. So if you are just still have a lot of business questions and you're like, I don't know where to go from here, I'm more than happy to do that. But does anybody else have just any other questions while we're all on here together? Okay. Are we good? All right. I tell you what, let's go ahead and close this call with prayer. I did not pray in the beginning because I wanted Kodie to get through as much of it as she could, and I knew she had to jump off early. But hey, Kayla, do you mind unmuting and praying for us?
Absolutely. And if y'all hear little ones in the back, that's just the joy of children.
We love little ones. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's pray, guys. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this day, God, and just thank you for the opportunities and the blessings that you give us. And thank you, Lord, that for whatever reason, the people on this call right now, they haven't folded, because you have given us more than something that is a tasty pink drink or even a way to make money. But God, you've given us something to truly create as a ministry, to show people you. And that is above all everything, God. And just thank you that you're using something called Plexus to do that. thank you that you've lined all of this up just perfectly, God. It's just so your nature to do that for us, and why sometimes we stand in awe, just wondering, oh, wow, God, it's just crazy, because that's what you do. And I'm just so thankful. I'm so grateful for the people on this team who just want to sharpen each other. Lord, even if we feel like we don't have a downline who's ready to strategize with us or do this or that you've given us these people on this call to do just that, to work together, to sharpen one another and encourage one another. And so I just pray that we will take what was given to us and we will find a way to put it into action, God, a sustainable action, something that we find joy in doing, in helping us. Because as you even tell us, we are kind of a big deal, God, because if we believe in you, we are daughters of you. And that means we are royalty. We have something that can help other people in this broken world. And I just pray that we use that and we don't take it lightly. So God, thank you for Jana and her leadership, Lord, and even through the hard times, always stepping forward. And I just thank you, God, for her and just for her love for you and therefore for us. Help us to show that same love to our people and for the people that I know you're bringing to us. And we just pray all this in your name. Amen.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.